I was very comfortable in my chair there, listening from the perspective of the policymaker. I work with digital policies, digital technologies, and policies related to this. So, then my reading of what you were saying was from the lens of what tools, what can I put in my toolbox, in my policy toolbox, after I leave this very rich 2 days. And I think I've heard a lot about. I think you haven't said it, but open science. You've talked a lot about collaborative processes upfront, almost like ensuring quality by deliberation upfront at the framing moment of defining your problems and defining then the scientific solution. And I think this is very interesting from the policymaker's point of view. Rather to mirror that process in an open policy approach. So the question, I think, and I will try to be short, and I have two more observations afterwards, but the question is, how do we create this dialogue in between the scientific evidence built through participation, and then the policy framing built also through participation at the confluence in between the evidence and then the social values and the collaboration with all of the, you've used the word stakeholders, so I will not be blamed for using too much policy jargon here. But I think, so this was my overall question to you, kicking the ball back to how can we be practical about things, and referring also to the challenge launched to all of us by the Director General of the Joint Research Center in our first day. And I think maybe a couple of details about my view on things and my work and how it relates to what you were saying. I particularly work on experimental things related to big data and big data technologies and how these can inform the policy making. It's not, I mean, the methodology there can be contested, but there is one observation. I think this is where I link a little bit to Dorothy's field. One of the experiments we're looking at, and we're definitely not the only ones, it's an ocean governance, and what other data sources can look broadly at the problem not complementing the very deep understanding of scientific implications linked to illegal fishing, to deep sea mining, and so on and so forth. And I think the one observation that I wanted to leave this panel with is, what are the other methodologies, what are the other data sources, information, knowledge sources that can then open the framing much broader than at a very incipient level. I had other comments, but I think I will save them for later conversations and then just let the others ask their own questions.